Hi, this is Stephanie with Kate's Crafts. Welcome to my Flosstube channel. That means it's a YouTube channel that's about cross stitch and other crafting, but 99% of my time is cross stitch updates for you guys. Um, Welcome if you're new. Uh, and if you're returning, thank you for coming back. I know I've been more sporadic with my videos. I'm trying to get at least monthly, and that's my goal, is to try and get up to a weekly or at least bi-weekly updates for you guys. Um, June was just insane though. So I guess a little bit of life update. I, everybody's work probably has slowed down because of COVID, and a lot of projects have maybe shifted or been put on hold, etc. And things are coming back. So it's very exciting that um, that things are coming back, but it means they're like exploding, which means that I have a lot of late nights and a lot of meetings. So my not only has my crafty time been impacted, but my um, floss tube filming time has also been impacted. So I apologize for that, but it's definitely good. I hope it'll kind of level out, going forward, so I can get to whatever my new normal is. Um, as I found cross stitch again during the pandemic, I haven't really had the like normal life and cross stitch interacting, so I kind of just need to figure out what that is. Um, so there's that. Um, I've also made the decision that I am going to get back into the running world. I've had some health issues. As some of you know, in the fall, I had some health issues, and continuing on into early this year, I have been cleared to run again. So I'm going to be starting running, which is exciting, but that's also going to take up some time. So my goal right now is I'm going to be running a 10K in November, and then I'm running a half marathon in February. So those are the short-term goals, but obviously, you know, getting outside is going to be important too. And if you've figured out how to cross stitch and run at the same time, let me know. Don't think that's possible. Um, so this video today is going to be my June wrap up and also a Frogwarts wrap up. And Frogwarts is the retreat put on by the Black Needle Society, and it was this past weekend. Had a great time, made some new friends, some folks that I hope to keep in touch with, and some new Instagram accounts to follow and YouTube channels to follow as well. And it was a great time. A lot of great people in that group, and this is year 2 of Frogworks, so um, they're gonna do all 7, and then there's gonna be an 8th reunion that'll hopefully be in person. So dates for year 3 have already been released. It'll be mid-July next year, which is exciting, and it's already on my calendar. um, and if what I say today, on top of, I did a Frogworks unboxing, that's the video before this. If you did not attend and you want to see what was in the box, um, I think you can kind of get the gist of it. You also should join the Black Needle Society Facebook group, because sometimes they do stitching nights every month and that kind of stuff. So you can kind of get a feel for how it goes. And it really is a great community within the cross stitch community. So I highly recommend you check that out. All right. So I will put a little bit more Frogwarts wrap up updates on how that went at the end of my whips. I'll do that one last. So maybe kind of do things in reverse order here. Uh, One thing that, so I'll start with haul, I guess. One thing I did buy, I've actually was very good this month. I think part of being so busy, I didn't have time to do any shopping, which is unusual for me, but I did get my Jody fabric. So Jody is from the Steel City Stitchers, and if you don't follow them, you should. But if you found me, you probably already know who they are, because they're a much bigger fish in this world than I am. But they're a great group of girls or ladies, women. They are hilarious. They get together and do their floss tubes once a week all together. And when Jody started doing her fabric by the month club, I signed up because I tend to go with more neutral fabrics, and Jody does like brighter fabrics, and I wanted to try some different counts and things like that. So this was my June fabric, and it is kind of blowing out a little bit because I did want some light here today, but this is a really pretty like teal. So you can see my shirt's blue. You can see it picks up a little bit of the green in there, but it's, and I did change. So my previous ones were all 36 count. This is a 40 count linen. So this is, and they're like fat eighths. Um, and then this one, I've tried a couple times before when I set up to see how this would show up. It's getting like blown out, but it is a very pretty, it's like a honeydew mint green. Let me see if I put it with some paper here. You can see it's just slightly green, but it's really pretty. It's like a honeydew mint color, and I think it would be really perfect for a spring pattern. Like I could see some like a bunny with some carrots or something on this. It's that kind of perfect spring green. So excited about that. And I may switch and stitch Dreaming Girl on this, Barbara Anna Designs, because it is the same. Like I said, I know it's kind of getting blown out, but it's that same teal that's in that recommended fabric, and I think the modeling on this is really pretty. And I'd love to stitch that on 40 count. So I may do that. So that is my haul. I did good. Did good. I tried. Um, so, all right, with that being said, I put my whips down. Let me grab them. So I last time I showed you, so I did a little bit more work on my, not a ton more, but I did a little bit more on my Heaven and Earth designs. This is Floral Bird of Paradise. The artwork is by Joe Lynch, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I am stitching this 2/1 full cross on 18 count Aida, and this is just the 18 count Aida from Michaels. And this is where I'm at. So when I watched Flosstube, everyone said, leave like 2.5 to 3 inches. And this piece of fabric, I have like 2.5 inches here on the side. But I found that with my Q snaps, I need to start stitching in the ditch, right? When you do the Q snap backwards, because this edge, it's too hard to stitch on when it's in a Q snap. So that's why I do have some hoop marks here, because what I was doing was just focusing on working down this border, because I can do everything inside here just fine on a Q snap. But for whatever reason, I like this better without, like, so my thought was to kind of work my way down and finish that border a bit, and then at least through the next page, and then carry the rest of the design down in my Q snap. I still haven't decided if I'm gonna get a big frame or scroll bars for this. I think long term, for amount of the effort I'm putting into this, I think it's a good idea. Just haven't done it yet. Maybe I'll just save up a little bit, and that'll be another big purchase coming up. So that is that. Again, not much focus, and I'll touch on that in plans. But June was so crazy. I didn't even have time to really do all my WIPGO and everything either. I got most of it done, but not all of it. So, all right. Then my next WIP. So when I last saw you guys, I showed that I had bought these Easy Stitch scroll rods, which have the Velcro on them, and I got a 30-inch length. I did end up putting my mini white magnolia on there, which was my Haid mini. It fits perfect on there because the fabric is 28 inches wide. And I really did like it. I was able to just kind of start working, and basically what I did is I just worked in a few of my parked threads just to see how I liked it, and I did like it. So I went and I bought another frame, and then I bought, well, I should say I brought another set of rods. Now, when you buy the rods, it doesn't come with the tape. So I bought a 12-yard roll of the tape for the fabric side, so that I can have projects that I can put in and out. And I moved my Harry Potter book covers to this. Now, if you guys know, I was working on, this is book 1 on Harry Potter book covers. This design is by Fox and Teacups Designs, and I am doing the supersize max color US version with the unnamed. So she has charted J.K. Rowling's name not in there, and that's the way I'm going. So uh, I worked in pretty much all but this one lonely parked thread here, and I was doing that so I wouldn't get any page lines, right? So when I put it in the scroll frame, though, I was like, oh wait, I can do more. Let me roll this back up so I can hold this easier here. And I started on book 2 and 3. Can you guys see that? So, so that the red there is the width of book 2, and then the pink peachy color is going into book 3. And this is stitched on 25 count easy grid Lugana, and it is I'm doing 2/1/10 stitch on this, and you can't even tell. You can't really even tell they're 10th stitch. I did a couple trial pieces where I did 1/1 full cross and 2/1/10, and at 25 count, I can't even tell. So I am very happy with that that progress, and you know, I think it'll be good to have those kind of projects, my big full coverage ones, on these rods. So I think I am going to transition to that. Like I said, my Floral Bird of Paradise is big. My Disneyland is also big. I think that's even bigger than the other one. So those I gotta look at getting. I'm probably gonna get one larger set of rods and then alternate those between them, or until I can like save up and buy 2 sets of rods. We'll see how this goes. I don't find putting the tape on and trying to get it straight to be that difficult. Once the tape is on the fabric straight, which with Easy Grid, it's so easy to get the tape straight because I just follow the line on the fabric. So, you know, couldn't be much easier than that. And then I bought these sidebars. So the first kit I bought is a frame, basically just has the end and then it has a middle hole. That way, if you want to put it on the floor, their floor stand has a center mount, right? So that you can pivot it and whatnot. I bought this extra side. This allows me to like space it if I want like a 6-inch spacing or an 8-inch spacing or an 11-inch spacing, I think. But so I have these then too that I can put on the ends of either of them. So that is that. So I guess that technically is a purchase for haul. I'll figure that out separate. Um, and then the other big whip I had was Frogwarts. So talking about Frogwarts year 2, the way Black Needle Society was going forward with this is about a week and a half, 2 weeks before the retreat, they released the digital pattern for those who bought the box. Now that's what they did for this year. I don't know that I didn't do year 1, so I don't know if they did the same thing then. But they supplied a digital copy that worked in Pattern Keeper if you wanted it, or you could just have a regular digital PDF that you could print out. But um, having it in Pattern Keeper was a huge help. Loved that. So Katie and Laura, thank you for making it Pattern Keeper compliant. That was or compatible. That was awesome. Being able to use my tablet and zoom in. So uh, if you finished it before the end of the retreat, you got 100 house points. That was my goal. That was my intention. My intention was to have it done, you know, well, not before, but have it be very manageable so that I could stitch on the prompts for like the first 2 days using that, but get done. Then, as I said, work exploded and life happened. And, you know, had some stuff with my family, with the kids, things that came up. I mean, it's not excuse. It just is what it is, right? It is what it is. So I did not get it done. I didn't. So I'm disappointed. I won't lie. I'm disappointed in myself. But that's about it. I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I'm going to move on and I'm going to get it done. So it may not get done till next year because I'll tell you, so this is like about 11,000 stitches and I only have 1,000 or 1,200 left to go. I need a break from this pattern for a little bit. It was a lot of stitching in that 2 week period. I started the retreat with about 4,500, I think, stitches done, and then completed another uh, like 5,000 during the retreat. So, and technically that number's off because I did do 1/1 on here, and the way Pattern Keeper counts 1/1 charted is like it's 3 fractional stitches, so you mark off 1 stitch, but it's really 3 or 4 stitches potentially, depending on the chart. It could be 1, 2, 3, or 4 stitches. So that stitch count isn't exactly right, but I'm somewhere in that ballpark, right? So I'll show my WIP, and then I'm going to talk about the fabric after. But this is where I got to on the year 2 band sample. Now, I stitched it with the fancy floss. To be honest, I don't know if I'm going to do the other ones on fancy floss or not. I'll probably use what I have, but I think I might just be more selective about which elements I use fancy floss on and which ones I use DMC. Because loops start not caring about variegation, being it's less stressful for me. And I'll to be honest, my fancy floss kept tangled like so many times. And my DMC, don't have that issue. So I don't know, and I'm not really stitching that differently. Like my technique is not any different, but I had so many knots I had to pull out. And it was frustrating. So if the DMC doesn't make me frustrated, I think I may do that. Like some of the stuff I love the variegation in, and I think it adds something to the design for sure. But some of the stuff you could do with DMC and no harm, no foul. So I think that's what I'm going to do going forward. Now, I made a few changes because, well, I should say, of the fancy floss, there were about 5 or 6 that were just too hard to find because stores have shortages and whatnot. So, like I know offhand, black raspberry jam, I subbed in Auntie D, which is like a more purple blue variegation. So, like my cauldron there, you can see it has a little bit more variegation in it. And then I didn't have old purple paint, so I used Rod and Reel, which I believe is Classic Colorworks Rod and Reel. Might be General Arts. I have to check. But so it was a little bit more gray brown variegated than I think old purple paint is. But I think it came out really well. So I also used the Diamante, the diamond, the spools of DMC metallic, not the skeins that they have. And I added that into, it's probably even hard to tell, but on the camera, I added that into the bubbles coming out of the potion, polyjuice potion there. I did not do any other metallics outside of that, and I know there are places in here I do want to add metallic and the etoile. That's the word I'm thinking, etoile. So I haven't done, like, I did all the spiders, little spiders, but I haven't done any of the webs. I haven't done that yet, and I haven't decided if I'm going to do it in glow in the dark DMC or etoile or metallic, that kind of stuff. So not rushing to get it done is actually going to let me customize it and make it mine a little bit more. I also have I want to put metallic in the sword as well. I also made a few mistakes, so it's got some extra personalization from me. That's okay too. There's no specialty stitches in here. There except for these 3 Algerian eyelets right here, and there'll be 3 at the other end when I get there. And that phrase is stitch 1/1. So everything else on here is 2/1. So I have the rest of the basilisk head here to finish. I obviously have the rest of the wording, and then I have the spider webs and the metallic, and I'm done. So I don't have that much more to do. So this will get done. Fabric wise, this fabric You can kind of see the modeling on it. And sorry, it's horribly wrinkled because it was balled up in my Q-snap as extra because I obviously don't need this whole bit. Um, but this is My Precious by Be Stitch Me, and it's a 36 count linen. And I think in my last video, I told you guys that I was restarting year one, which I haven't done, but I'm going to. And I am going to use the fabric I got in the Forbidden Fiberco Mandalorian box for year one. And I met up with Jennifer Gorski, who is also in the Black Needle Society stitching group, and she only lives like 35 minutes from me. So I met up, and she was kind enough to let me go shopping in her stash because she does have a good size fabric stash where I do not. And we mapped out 6 of the 7 pieces, although I guess now I need 8. I guess I need 8 pieces for all the years because like I had said in my last video, if you watch Harry Potter, you'll notice at the beginning of every movie, the Warner Brothers logo and the intro to the movie, it gets darker and darker as the movies go on. And that is because obviously the storyline, they're more mature and what they go through and the ultimate fight with Lord Voldemort, becomes darker and darker. So I decided I wanted them all that way. I have, like I said, I mapped that out. I'll make a note in my next video. I don't have them handy. In my next video, I'll walk you through all of the fabric I have and see what you guys think because that was really, really cool. So thank you again to Jennifer for that. So that's it for my whips. But I mean, this wasn't even started the last time you saw me. So that is a ton of progress for a month, especially for a month as crazy as mine. Um, so before I talk about plans, I will just give a little bit more wrap up on the retreat itself. As I said, it was fantastic. It was super fun. And I loved, if you've done events with the Black Needle Society, they do stitching challenges, they do stash dives where you go into your personal stash in your room, in your house, and find things that meet like a scavenger hunt. And then there are digital dives where it's like a digital scavenger hunt. We find screenshots of things you can buy online. And then they add in Harry Potter, in Frogwarts, they add Quidditch. And in Quidditch, you get assigned to a house team, and it's completely optional because not everyone can play on Quidditch. So they asked for people to volunteer to play, and I decided to try it out. And it was really fun, and I got to meet some great ladies. And I know a couple of you were following each other on Instagram, and maybe are going to watch here. So, hi, Gryffindor Quidditch team. We didn't win, but I'll tell you, every round we got better and better. And I think I was an unscrambler because some of the clues are scrambled. And by the third or the last round, we got every single one unscrambled. So I'm taking that as a personal win. So anyway, so that was fun. And then you're divided into a house cup team. And that's, I think, 8 to 10-ish people. And I was in the Gryffindor Transfiguration class. And our team killed it. We won the house cup. So I think we had like 1,800 house points. And I think the next closest had like 1,350, which is still amazing. I didn't think that we would rally that much, and we did. And so go team. And Jennifer Gorski's on my team. So hi, Jennifer. And I don't know if any of the other Gryffindor ladies are watching, but it was so fun to compete with you guys and to work together as a team. I really loved every bit of that. And then in the general stitching rooms where we could all meet up virtually, it was all the houses were mixed, and we got to talk with a lot of the people we see normally on the monthly stitching chat. So it's just, you can participate as much or as little as you want. The events are completely optional. I mean, you earn points based on how much you participate. So the more you participate, the more points you get. But you can totally do this retreat without participating in everything. You can just participate here and there, especially if you really just want the box and want to enjoy the stitchy goodies that are in that. So no spoilers in this video, but that I have my unboxing video if you want to see what's in the box. But Yeah, I can't recommend it enough. So if you're into Harry Potter, now I would say if you're not really into Harry Potter, that may not be the digital retreat for you because a lot of it may not make sense, you know, but that's okay. But Black Needle Society does have, like next weekend is their Black Needle Society retreat. And that is more generic. I don't want to say generic, but it's not like themed like a movie or any kind of theme like that. So it's whatever theme they come up with for the year. And that would appeal to anybody, even if you're not into Harry Potter. So definitely check out their boxes and check out their retreats. Some super fun items like that. So thank you again, ladies. And thank you to those who are the prefects, like Chloe and Felicity were our prefect, and Athena, who I've mentioned before, is a friend of mine, was head girl, and they did awesome, and they put a lot of work into that whole weekend. So thank you guys. Thank you for doing what you do. Um, it was really well run, and I can't wait to do more. Yeah, more retreats with them, Frogwarts or not. I wouldn't hesitate at all to recommend a Black Needle Society retreat. So, all right. That being said, now plans. Okay. So July is obviously this was part of my July, but July going forward is uh, is going to be tough. I'm going to be traveling for a bit of it, and so I am going to try when I get back from my trip. I'm going to try and work on my Heed. While I'm on my trip, I'm only taking two pieces right now, unless I in the next hour decide to grab another one. But I am only taking two pieces, and I'm going to take henna mandala from ink circles because that's one color of sulky blendable that I can do on the plane. And then I am also going to take my Roxy sail and scratch that. I may pull out my WIPGO and see what's on there. And if it's something I can transport easily, not a ton of colors, I may take that too. But because I'll be honest, I forgot to pull up WIPGO. I'm not editing this today, so it is what it is. And I completely forget what my pieces are. I think one of them is already done. I finished early, and the other one, we'll see what it is. I will say it's hilarious because my mini white magnolia is on WIPGO 4 times. Hasn't been called yet. And it's 2,000 stitches each time it's called. So I can bet, like, watch November, it's going to be double mini white magnolia, 4,000 stitches in a month. That's going to be my luck. That's okay. Yearly goals. Just try and get them done in the year, right? So Roxy, I mentioned to you, I will hopefully be able to go COVID museum hours willing. I will be able to go to the museum in Cape May, New Jersey, and take my Roxy sale there. I have made zero progress on it, is what it is, and that's okay. I am I am working into the world of giving myself grace on these things. It's hard. It's a process. Um, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the Roxy sale. If you're also doing it, uh, please comment down below and let me know what you're doing about the phrase at the bottom because it's become very controversial. So, for those who don't remember or don't know, Roxana Corson is a true sampler that was stitched by Roxana Corson when she was 9 years old in Cape May, New Jersey. She, in that original sampler, is on display in their museum, which is what I'm hoping to go see next week. The Jean Farish from Jean Farish Needleworks has taken that and tried to kind of make it more updated for today, and that's why she calls it Roxy. And so the colors are brighter. She's added a bunch of specialty stitches in there, and she's kind of reformatted it to fit a standard frame because she wanted this to be something that maybe people who didn't have the means to pay for custom framing or who just wanted to try a sampler out, etc., or a seasoned veteran who just, doesn't want save you the cost of custom framing. So hers fits in a standard, I think it's 14 by 16 frame at Michael's, stitched on 30 count. I am stitching mine on 40 count, and when I map it out, mine should fit in an 11 by 14 frame. So I should still be able to go with the standard frame, slightly different spacing, but that's okay. So one of the things she did though to make it fit is, and this is just the cover page of, so I'm not showing any chart stuff here, is you can see here, this is the alphabet with the Algerian eyelets. that I had the ABC done, and that's still where I am. She stopped at R, so there was another row there, but to keep it so that the height fits within the sampler, she took that out. Jean Farish did. Depending on what I do with my saying, I may do that whole alphabet. So I'm kind of waiting now until part 6 comes out, because we are on part 5 of 6. So part 6 will come out August 1st, and I am going to kind of play around with the spacing. Now, on the original Roxana Corson sampler, the phrase is stitched 1/1. In this, she had people who wanted to do it on Aida as well as linen, so she didn't have anything stitched over 1, just in case you're doing Aida, because obviously that would be a ton of piercing the center of those threads, and that's not fun for anyone. So she just charted this saying here, as you can see it all the way across, and it is over 2, so it matches the rest of the sampler. When you look in Roxana's, it's because it's over 1, not only is it half the width, it's also half the height. It's a quarter of it, right? If you think of a 1/1 would be a quarter of it. So I kind of need to play around with that and see what I'm going to do, but I'm probably going to make some changes, and that's okay. The phrase that's in there that is not me is, when I am dead, am I in my grave, and all my bones are rotten. When this you see, remember me, or I shall be forgotten. Nothing wrong with that. It's a very appropriate sampler phrase. I personally get the heebie-jeebies when we talk about my bones are rotten. It's not me, and that's okay. So the idea here, though, is remember me, right? Remember that I stitched this. Remember that I existed. I don't want to get too, philosophical, but that's the premise, right? And I think the quote I'm going to put there is going to fulfill that idea, but it will not be that quote. And that's okay. Plus, I get to play around with charting myself. That's fun. New skills. So I am going back and forth between, and I don't have the quotes picked out like word for word to read you, but I'm obviously Disney, Harry Potter, Disney, Harry Potter. So I'm toying around with doing some sort of a quote from Remember Me in Coco, because that song like makes me like ugly mom cry like every time. As well as potentially a Harry Potter quote from book 3, Prisoner of Azkaban, when Sirius is talking with Harry, and basically I'm going to just paraphrase, says something to the effect of, the ones that love us never truly leave us, they stay in our hearts. So if you have an opinion down below, what do you think? Coco, Harry Potter? Coco, Harry Potter. It may come down to what is charted fits the best, but because I honestly think I could go either way. But that way I put something that really is personal to me as far as my love of Disney and Harry Potter in a piece for my family to remember me someday, with and keeping the natural intent of the sampler. So plus, if I was a 9-year-old girl stitching on a sampler today, I would probably pull something from Disney or Harry Potter. So there is that. So yeah, so basically, like I said, I am through this ABC up here, so there's a whole lot more strawberries to add. There is another herringbone row. There's this whole scripty alphabet here, and then the quote. And then down below, on the original, it basically talks about the day, like this sampler was wrought by Roxana Corson on this day in Cape May, New Jersey. So I think part 6 is going to focus on that, of who made it, when we stitched it, and whatnot, and then finish off that bottom border. I kind of, at this point, want to have all of that charted out and figure out what I'm doing before I stitch the rest of that. Well, I can stitch the 2 rows of the Algerian alphabet as is, but before I want to decide if I'm going to continue with the rest of the alphabet. Now, what's really cool is, so this alphabet up top, the tiny one, the cross stitch layout of that matches the Algerian alphabet. So like this A looks like that A, it's just bigger because it's Algerian eyelets instead of cross stitches. So if I want to do the rest of them, even though Jean Farish hasn't charted it, I can just use these as a guide and chart it myself. It's going to be pretty straightforward, uh, which is really nice to have that option as well. So more to come on this, but I'm going to take this with me. I feel like I can safely work on the rest of the Algerian alphabet and then this down the sides because I know I'm going to at least, it's going to be that big, uh, and then figure out kind of what's going on in this space. So that is not just a July plan. Well, working on the alphabet and the border is, but long-term charting out is going to be going forward as well. So obviously not all in the month of July. And then I'm going to be doing some work traveling in August. So August is going to be hard. We got back to school in August and all that fun stuff. So trying to focus on WIPGO for getting through July and August. I've done pretty good. So as a mid-year check-in, I have 2 squares out of the 12 that are not complete. One is a finish on my turtle piece, which I think got called in February or March. And I think there's one, my Christmas list. I basically had like 2 phrases and 2 motifs, and I've only gotten the phrase parts done on the squares that have been called. So I'm hanging in there, doing pretty good. I think my WIPGO is still achievable. I don't think it's too crazy, so we'll see how it goes. But that's my plans. I may try and do a pop in while I'm on my trip. We'll see. But if not, you know, it is what it is, and I'll come back at the end of July. So I guess with that being said, thank you for watching. I hope everybody's staying healthy. I hope you're managing the heat if you're in one of the areas that's super hot right now, and I hope you stay safe. And like I said, just you know, going through the retreat this weekend, it just shows how wonderful this community is, and being able to chat with folks virtually it means a lot, right? For a lot of us right now, where we can't get out and see people, but it also allows us to talk with people in different countries, different time zones. I chatted a bunch with Chloe and Felicity in Australia, and some other folks like Rachel Ray and Pippa and some of the other folks who joined from Europe and New Zealand. And, we had folks from Italy on. So it was great to be able to, we can't travel international, but we can still talk to our international friends. And just being reminded of that and having that all come together was nice, right? It really is a small world and a good community. So thank you again for listening to me ramble. And I hope you liked some of my whips. Again, let me know below what you think I should do about the Roxy quote. And, if you're new and you found me, let me know where you found me from. Other than that, take care, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.